Right, today, this is my third replay session that I'm doing. In this one, I'm doing replay number 10100911606, the MMR is around 4300 by Matti Kari, who is playing. I have no idea because I haven't watched the replay yet because I'm bad at preparing. Someone gave me a tip that you can actually pause with F9, or the replay thing you use to pause in game. They lied! I cannot do that. Maybe I have it something different. Anyway, so I'm going to pause at the start of the game. Who did he play? Matty Curry. Who am I focusing? I'm focusing on the Doom this game. MMR is around 4300. And it's a 5v5 at... Oh no, I closed the email! Disaster! Give me a second, guys. Sorry. So I am not professional at this. This is very bad YouTube comment doing it like this. Holy. Alright, so... He's playing in a local online tournament in Malaysia. It's a 5v5. And he's from the UK, so he's playing at 250 ping. So before anyone says anything about this game, he is playing at 250 ping, which I can say from personal experience is actually the worst thing in the world. Playing with high ping is awful. Okay, anyways, I'm going to start. So the first thing you want to consider is what the lanes are going to be. You see their team, they see... Help! Help! Let me move my camera! Help! 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 Okay. F9. That does not work. Someone lied to me. F9. So you see their team, you see Clockwork, you see DK, and you see Void. I mean, it's Clockwork off lane, Void bottom. You're not too sure if it's like DK mid with Lich, or Void Lich mid, or DK, but most likely it's going to be a Charling bottom, or a AA Void bottom with a Lich top, helping the Clockwork. So you want to look at your heroes, you want to see how to lane them. I have no idea what these heroes are. It's probably Razor mid, Doom off lane, Sniper carry, and Sancer Jakiro supports. I'm not going to talk about picks at all. I don't think it's really relevant. At one point, I will probably talk about getting a good team composition and what you need to look for, but that's not going to be for a while. So sorry. Actually, I have way too much stuff to talk about, and I need to. So anyways, we're gonna start with the Doom. You have to consider your items. It's a Void AA. They don't have that many stuns on their team. AA, Lich, Void. So boots are actually gonna be really good. You want to get a ward straight away. One of the most important things, especially in Code Games, is if you're getting boots, you can get down to here to place a ward before they can get from here to here. So when you place, if you place a ward here, they will not see you unless they also have boots. So this Doom should be running, sprinting, fast as he can. He's 290 MS. Wait. That's a replay bug. Anyways, he's 240 MS, 340 MS, so he should be sprinting down here, and you can either get to ward in here. If you're feeling very brave, you don't think the opponents are good, you might be able to get it here because they're late to scout. Like he would have been able to get there. This ward is okay. I think it's good because it sees a rune. It's sort of easy to deward because it's common. It should be more common now than it was before, but people haven't caught on to it, so it's a pretty good ward. You can ward here. There's the EG ward, we call it, because EG placed this ward first. This one sees a rune, it blocks the second minion camp. If they don't know it's blocked, they'll get a single pull this. They're like, oh, I can pull to this, so I'm going to pause because there's too much to talk about. I can pull to this because... And then... to chain the pull, and then you're like, oh no, I have no camp there, and then this one's sort of hard to pull to unless you've eaten the right tango. Like, oh, I'm screwed, and now you got two waves as the offlaner. Another thing to think about when you're offlane Dune is, are there supports weak enough that I can just run in here, just 20 seconds in, run in and get a creep, or at 30 seconds, and then run back to lane. Can they stop me if I do this? If they had a solo AA and you think the Lich is in a different lane, then yeah, sure, 100%. You can run in, get the creep, and then fight the AA, because AA sucks. It's the weak hero in this sort of situation. If it's, say, like an ogre, then you're like, oh, hell no, it's an ogre, he's going to beat on me, you know? Like, you have to look at the enemy supports and see what's good. For this camp, I do want to talk about this, because you're the offlaner. You have 5 spots you should ward, basically. You can put one here, bottom right corner, bottom left corner, magic bush, under magic bush, and here. Every other spot is super mediocre for this camp, I think. if you're super next level and you know how to if they deward like this, one here and one here, then you can just put it in the middle. But that's really rare. You have to be against really good opponents that you've already studied. I don't think that's applicable here, so I should stop talking about it. The focus of these replay sessions is usually going to be pubs, so all the supporting stuff. If you run down here in a pub, you'll probably get it, and they probably won't do. This ward is also fine. Alright, let's go, let's go. This Doom you want to block. There's actually a spot here that's similar to the RTZ block, so this DK should definitely be RTZ blocking. Where you stand here, all the creeps go like this. If you stand in a spot here, it's really hard to do. All the creeps will go this way, and you can start your block here, especially your boots. You need to be at 315 MS here, or you need to have boots in order for this to work. Might change in the patch because creeps are slower for longer. Anyways, so he's gonna block. You do want to go to a single player and practice your blocking. Blocking is important. It'll get you extra creeps. Yes, blah 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 blah. Go 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 Doom. You never want to eat the first creep like this because now his lane's gonna push in. However, I say never, but you almost never want to eat the first creep like that because of the way no push in. However, he's against a lich. So this is gonna apparently it's the offlane Doom. I should really go over my replays, but right now I'm just choosing them by whichever one has plus vote in the thing because I said I'd give them priority if they voted for us in the summit. I want to go to that tournament. So we're going to do another offlane one. I know we've already covered offlane, but there's way more things I can talk about for that. When the lane's like this, especially now it's a 3v1. Anyways, when the lane's like this, and you see their supports, it's a lich, a void, you have boots, you click them, they're weak, they have nothing, he doesn't have an orb of venom early, and you have boots, you have a 0% chance to die at these creeps. So, if we go back 10 seconds, what should have happened is... Okay, I didn't finish my thing. Oh my god, I'm not in the... They don't mind to do this. You should never eat the creep unless if they have a lich, it doesn't matter because the lane is gonna pull back anyways. That's all I want to say. A lich or enigma. I'm like this is awful. Anyways, so let's go back here. You see here. Okay, we're gonna go. Like the first thing you want to do when you get to lane. So you see the void, you click him. He's like, oh, is he scary? No, he's. I mean, void's good in lane. Let's not get this wrong. Void is very good in lane. He's one of the best carries. But you have to look at the trial. Can they kill me? The answer is no. I'm not gonna look at this. Can they kill me? No. So you can run here, right click the void to aggro him, pull the creep back, right click him again, pull the creep back here. Now the creeps are here, and sometimes even if they misplay it, you can make your creeps hit the void a bit more. You can help the support. See, this is very good. His range keeps hitting the lich is screwing up. Ideally, this would be blocked. The supports blocked it themselves because they're not good. So this Doom's Gucci. He's getting full XP. This right here. Do you see this Doom? He's standing here. I'm gonna actually check if I have a... How do I do this? I can do something for spectators, right? Where's pause? Ah! Nice la. Nice la. Nice la. Okay. So... You see how he's just standing and then getting experience? He is winning this offlane. But he can be doing even better than this. He could be playing a bit more aggressive. They can't kill him. He could run through this river, sappy XP from this camp, maybe even eat a creep. Instead, he chooses to go back to the jungle. Not a big fan of this decision, but it's okay. You're not expected to get that much on an offlaner in a competitive game like this, even in pub. So, and if your hero's jungle capabilities, sometimes it's fine to go jungle. When you jungle as Doom, you should definitely check all three camps so you're coming at too late. You see the timer, you should stack now. You shouldn't take the centaur because centaur... Okay, before centaur is okay because at least it gave you the attack speed aura for jungling, but now centaur is the worst creep that you can get out of any of them. The troll, wildkin, satyr, Ursa are all better. Ursa's actually really good for ganking. Satyr's pretty good for ganking and jungling, gives you regen. Wildkin you can stack and get super high levels. And Troll is the best because you can summon those skeletons and be a beast. But anyways, I think that if you see these two support, you have to judge it by the enemy supports. Because what I'm saying is, if they're strong supports, don't be scared if you have to go back here if you can't do anything bottom. That's the worst way to think, saying, I'm not doing enough this game. You need to know exactly what you can do in the game, and you need to try to do that. But anyways, this Doom definitely this game, he could have done more. So he didn't know how much his limits, basically. And he wanted to be down there to check the first rune too. So if he sees the Lich get the illusion, that's good. He should actually, if he was there a bit earlier, he can actually just run up and fight him. He has full regen, there's a concept of just being able to trade regen for experience. But this is perfectly fine. What he's doing is working out perfectly well because the supports are playing it poorly and they're pushing the lane. So now he's just gonna stand here. He can go up. He should go up, contest the void for last, be annoying, piss that void off. Because while it might be scary, you're gonna be like, oh, but there's 3 heroes down here. You have to know when they can't kill you, and especially when you have boots and a ring protection, you're actually really tanky. Ring protection adds 18% EHP when you have 0 armor. Anyways, as 18, and you need to know when you can force the supports to show, and that's a important concept in team game, because if you stand down here and you sit here and the wave is here and you're sapping XP, you're winning your lane. You're doing a good job, but you could be doing even better because if you're here and lane's here, there's no reason for a support to show. He can hit you once. It's not worth him showing. So that means your mid doesn't know if he's getting ganked. Your top doesn't know if they're getting smoked on. If you stand up here and you're like being annoying, you're like hitting the void, pulling the creeps around, trying to deny, the void's gonna be pissed off. He's gonna tell his teammates, please help me. This doom is screwing with me. And then the supports are gonna come start hitting you. And then that's information that you've gained at no cost. And no cost information is the best information because like you're not at risk of dying. And it's just better play. You might even get extra CS because of it. Okay. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, he's doing perfectly well in this lane. Since I've already done another offlane game, I guess this one will focus a bit more on the mid game rather than laning. So I'm gonna speed up through the laning phase a bit. Practicing last hitting on the tower is always good. You should go into a game and just create a lich and deny all your creeps and try to last on your tower, but that's not really what I talk about. I want to talk about the decisions he's gonna make this game. He goes and he steals a creep. Very good, very good, very good. He has strength boots. He's annoying. He has high regen. Now he has strength boots. He's faster. He's tankier. And even if they get him to 10 HP, it doesn't really matter. He has Tranquil Boots and still 3 tangos. So he can be super annoying now. He should be standing up here. He should walk in here, scout them out, and yeah. So this is good, this is good. This is way better than standing here actually, going for the rune. Because what if he gets a haste rune or double dash? You can actually gank mid as a Doom. It's pretty good. You're fast. You have this spell. It's annoying. You're super tanky. You can dive the tower. And you have War Stomp, which is amazing, amazing. But anyways, he's doing good. He's going in, being annoying. He's winning his team the game right now. If you compare him to the enemy Clockwork, he's level 2, and this is Doom vs Clockwork. So his team's doing a lot better of his zoning job. And I think one of the reasons for this is because the Radiant Sword is here, which is a really bad ward for Radiant, because either you want it here so you can see more of the river, or you want it here so that you can see this entrance. Seeing here is like, I as a support can look at myself. And if the offlaner comes here, then I know. But you would know if you had a ward here anyways, and it gives more vision here. And you would know if he enters here, or gets a rune here, and you'd be able to see him before he gets a rune. This one, if the mid comes, it's really hard to see him. And, oh, we got a troll. And another sort of important thing is, I had an idea that I forgot. Yeah. While you're an offlaner, if you're standing here, and the creeps are down here, you don't have to panic. You know that that's how your lane's gonna go, and during that, you shouldn't be doing nothing though. You should be looking at the other lanes and seeing if you can do anything. Some offlaners you can't do anything, but for example, like this guy got a creep, so you actually can gank mid if you want. It's actually a decent gank, and you need to be able to just click on your opponents and see, call items, see if Void has a TP. Does A have a TP? Does Lich have a TP? I'm standing up here being annoying, forcing them to show. I can click them if they have a TPs. What are they doing? Tell my team some information. So anyways. I don't know who's going to. We don't know the results for some yet. Not close yet. Yeah, so I'm gonna speed up a little bit through here, and I really do want to get into mid game here. Like now's the time. Oh, there's one more thing in lane. You need to know when you think they can kill you. when A is level 3 and Void is level 3 and they have level 2 jump, if he gets a Bastion, you're going to die as Doom. Especially with the Lich down here. So you have to know your limits and when to move to the jungle. And you have to know when you get enough down here that it's worth you going to a jungle so that a support can go there. So if you're just standing leeching EXP, whereas in the jungle you can sort of get a little bit less EXP maybe even, but you can get some gold, and the support can just stand here and leech EXP, then it's a very good rotation for your support and you to switch. And like, if you zone the offlane, one of the reasons why that works is because if you zone the offlaner properly in your safe lane, they won't be strong enough to contest your carry and one support. Before at the start, like, you need 3 heroes to zone most offlaners, but now it's not such a problem. You should definitely take one in Glaives and Silencer. You should probably get one in Dual Breath on Jakiro. You should take your best bow and Sniper. Razor's build is, it's okay. I like one in Link earlier, and I don't think LT's that good early unless you plan to farm with it. Yuka's build is fine. Lich's build is fine. AA's build, I think this build is really good. But he has to consider who he's laning with. He's laning with a Void, so what does it buff? It buffs the bash damage. Bash is a really bad buff. Right now at level 1, bash actually only adds 4 damage a hit on average, which is ridiculously bad. And you have 25% resistance, so it adds 3 damage a hit on average. So, anyways, gonna zoom through this first bit of the replay. The June's approaching 6, and then I'm gonna sort of look at what decision he makes when he hits 6, because that's the most important time, basically, in the game for an offlane. He's hit 6 here, there's a pause, how do I... blah. And we do have to remember, this Doom is playing at 250 ping, so a lot of his mechanical plays will be hard to criticize because he's on high ping, but his decisions are the same on high ping as they are in normal ping. That's something to keep in mind. Come on, blah blah blah. So what other things you want if you have a smoke? Well, if when you hit 6 is of course you want to get a smoke. You don't have to use it right away. But what the hell? He's crazy. Does he have a snipe? Where's the sniper? Can you snipe him? He backtracked it, didn't he? Faceless Void. If you had Shrapnel, you would killed him. So that was good. The thought process behind that was really good. They were like, I have Doom. If you TP down the sniper, you can kill the Void. Ideally, usually, you don't want your carry to TP down because when you TP down to your offlane, look at what you have to farm. In this entire half of the map, like, frick, I can't draw. This entire half of the map, look, you have to imagine what there is to farm for the Dire team. There's a little bit of lane here. The mid lane's occupied. So if you go down here as a carry, in order to get farm, you have to walk from here to here. And that's the earliest you can get farm. And that's only if you're a hero that can jungle. If you want lane farm, you have to walk from here all the way to here. Possibly sometimes you get some camps here if your Jenko's really good. But then the offlaner has to move from here all the way over. Those lines last way too long on 1 speed. All the way over here. So you really don't want to be in the offlane as a carry. And this time he chose to the Ancients. That's okay, but he sucks at killing them, so it's not that good. Anyways, DK has a double damage, they're pressuring. If you had Shrapnel, I bet you could do something. Oh, he's baiting! Beta Reno! Beta Reno! Oh, the headshot! The kill! Yeah. So, I mean, it works out because the DK's stupid. And he doesn't realize that the only place Sniper can go is like this. Back to his lane. But it's usually really bad to TP down. And even if you get 1 kill, it's not worth it as a carry. Unless you have a specific support who can farm up here without giving the offlaner a lot of space. And that's usually pretty rare. And, I mean, usually it's worth it if you save your offlaner and you get a kill, because your offlaner has to go heal and then you can lane for a bit. And usually most heroes in Dota can offlane okay, they'll sap some XP, they'll pressure the carry a little bit, but you don't want to TP it under. Anyways, that's also something to think about the mid player. If someone TPs to offlane, the only place they have to go is mid. There's nowhere else they can go other than running past mid to somewhere else. So if someone goes offlane and it fails, you should definitely consider that they're going to Genki mid next. I am reading chat, but I don't want to talk about chat that much because it's not going to be in the YouTube VODs and the Twitch VODs, which I think are more important with these. So let's look at Doom. He has no Doom, so he has to think about what he can do. If you can get CS like this, it's really good as Doom. If you also have someone who can farm into jungle a bit like this. I really do like what they're trying to do. Their concept of this top lane is that Sniper got a little lead. He's going to jungle, he's going to gank a bit, use that lead to his advantage, while his supports can sort of catch up. Because his supports were 3v1 zoning, so they didn't get a lot. Even if you pull a lot, you don't get a lot on supports in this patch. You used to get a lot when there were 2 medium camps, but not anymore. Ooh, AAOT. Turn Areno, turn Areno, turn Areno. Stun him, you can't live, you can't live! Disaster, you have a soul ring and no bottle. Anyways, so by moving the sniper around, ganking a bit with him, he's a decent ganker actually. If you look at him, if he headshots someone, that's 100% slow for 0.5, 1 second. Yeah, I don't know the hero after the change. Like they keep changing shit on me, and then they don't put on their tooltips, and they piss me off. Ovo, please help. Anyways, you secure this top lane for your supports, and we can see the difference in support levels, which is only 1. But like it should be, if they did it better, it should be higher. The difference should be higher than that, I think. And you should definitely take dual breath, because with dual breath they would have got that kill, I think. Do people also underrate dual breath on Jakiro because it's a 5-second, 28% slow for 1 point. That is ridiculously good, and it does 80 damage. Like the damage isn't even that bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. Like it's sort of an awkward spell to use, but it's one of the best level 1 spells in the game, and it's not even close. Like, it's high tier. So anyways, moving along, we see what Doom's going. He rushed to blink. So this is your first major item choice, and it's really important to talk about it. So especially on a hero like Doom, if you have to consider what item choices you get. There are basically 3 items you can get, or 3 items that you should get in pubs. Because I think there are more choices, but the choices are, you're going to get a Tranquil Boost. That's 100% offlane Doom. You can get a Blink, you can get a Midas, or you can get Drums. And you have to think about what each of those is going to give you. So Blink is going to let you gank a bit better. And you have to think and you have to have scenarios for each item when you would want them. So for Blink, I don't want Blink is, if my team cannot do anything if I don't have a Blink. That's pretty almost sort of true this game. Because like who's gonna initiate if not for a Blink with a net or a Doom or a War Stomp or whatever? It's like Raze's not gonna initiate. Yakiro's not gonna initiate. Why does he have a Planeswalker? Sniper's not gonna initiate because he has no shrapnel as best skill. The Blink, it looks pretty good. But then you also have to think, if we picked him off a lot, are we gonna get anything out of it? Are we only going to get 1 pick off every 100 seconds? That's ideal, right, with Blink? Will that actually do something for the game? Will we be able to take map control and secure late game? If I get Blink, I kill them a lot, but they still get farmed, will the other 4 heroes on my team, because I'm not farming with my Blink is no Midas, will they get enough items to fight them late game? And the answer to this game is, I'm not sure. Because Void is incredibly strong late game. AA is really good against these heroes late game. DK is pretty good late game, but Sniper is a bad hero late game. He's very mid game centric, because if they ever close the gap on the late game Sniper, he has no steroid. Range starts mattering less as the game goes on because Blinks come into play. People have higher movement speed with items such as Yields. You have items like Hex, which initiate high range, and his steroid it's not good, you know. Like it's a 40% chance for 90 physical damage, which I mean, it's basically like Bash. Like that's a 36 damage per hit on average, whereas someone like Shadow Fiend has a buffer of 72% damage and minus 5 armor. I don't even 6 armor. It's 6 armor now. So you have to keep in mind, like, is your team better late game? And this game, I think I would have got a Midas. Not for any of those reasons that I said, because I forgot an important one. If I get a Blink, can I actually do something with it? And I think the answer to that this game should be no, because even if you doom something, I think they'll be able to get a counter initiation with these 2 heroes very easily this game. But it's possible I could be wrong. They do have a global. They do want to be able to force something with the blink, which is perfectly fine. It's just I think Midas on Doom is very important in almost every game. And even if you go blink, maybe your next item is Midas. Anyways, he gets a blink. That's fine. It could be a good decision. We'll see how it works out. So one of the things that they're doing that people don't do enough is one of the ways to get ahead in farm that people don't realize. Like, okay, how do I say this? When people want to become stronger in the game, what they immediately think of is to farm creeps. They never think of going to the enemy and stopping their farm. And that's a theme even at the professional level. There are a lot of people who will sort of mindlessly farm and try to maximize their GPM and efficiency, but what they don't think about is that it doesn't matter if you have 1000 GPM if they have 900 GPM. If you have 500 GPM and they have 400 GPM, you're way stronger compared to if you had 1900, even though there's a 100 GPM difference between both. So if you have a lead in farming speed, you want both teams to farm slower because you'll get stronger. Not only will this like your relative strength will be higher, but how do I say it? Like, if both teams are farming slower, then you'll have, and you're still farming faster, then the item timings and advantages and sort of your strength peaks will be higher, will be longer. I mean, because at their slower farm speed, it takes them longer to get to their next item, and you get to, if you're dictating the pace of the game like that, you get to use your big items while they have to farm for their big items. So you're gonna have a long. I don't know if that was explained properly. I give up. Anyways, so what they did here is they put one of the strongest heroes, easily one of the strongest heroes. Okay, their strongest hero, Razor, down here, against the enemy carry. And maybe you don't farm as much in the off lane. As I noted before, in this half of the map, fuck, I can't draw. In this half of the map, like this half to the right here, the only thing you have is this lane. You don't really have access to a jungle early, so by being down here, you're gonna get a maximum of 4 creeps for 30 seconds. If you're mid, maybe you can push the lane, you can stack a cap, you can kill it, you can maybe get the rune, you can stack ancients, you can do a lot more stuff from here. From here, you can kill the cap, you can kill these caps, you have access to your jungle, you can push it, you can pressure this tower, blah blah. This one, you get 4 creeps every 30 seconds, and you can pressure a tower. So your options are limited down here. So Razor is sacrificing his farm to keep on this Void's farm, and to also make sure that the supports are forced to be around here. Because if he's not down here, Void's farming here, the supports are like, oh hey, I have nothing to do. I can pull, I can gank, I can send AA ults everywhere, blah blah blah. But now there's a Razor there, so you can't do that. You need to sit there and protect your carry. So anyways, they put the Razor down here. He's hard to kill. Boom, they global. Oh, disaster! 250 ping in action, but they have a good global. A can't get his ult off, and he still dies. Now, when doing all this, when going over replays, you have to think, you can't think of the small decisions here. The small decisions, like, for example, he had Agi Treads on. He probably would have lived a lot longer on Strength Treads. That actually would have let him get his wand off, maybe half a bottle charged 3 times, and that could have turned around. You can't blame the fact that Doom blinked into a chrono here, because that's a mechanical error. Who gives, like, who cares about these? Like, this is for improvement, right? This isn't for winning game. When you're trying to only focus on winning the game, you're going to care about these mistakes, and that's really bad for improving. Because you think that the way to win a game is to not make a mechanical mistake, which is true, but the way to improve is not harping on these mechanical mistakes and saying, oh, if you stun 0.1 seconds longer or later, we would have won. If you changed the stun 0.1 seconds earlier, the game would have been over. Like, who cares? It's this decision behind what you do. So, okay, Strength Treads is sort of a decision. This was really bad for Razor because you get to premeditate that, right? You know they're going to go on you here. The only thing they can do is either they try to do something over here, or they try to push out the lane so the Void can farm. But anyways, he jumps on you. You should have time to Strength Treads anyways. And the Doom Blinks is chrono. But let's see about this, whether the decision was good. We have to check if the decision was good here. So you have to consider he has AA third skill, which is really strong. They have AA ultimate, and then you have to consider, oh, I have global. So AA ultimate doesn't matter so much. It's gonna go off the map. He's not gonna get to cast it. Doom could have doomed this void, or he could have blinked past the Chronos to try to doom the supports. And would you have died? Was the decision good? Did he get lucky on bashes? Something like that. So the answer here is, I think this decision was fine. If he was on strength treads, Doom hadn't blinked in, he got a Doom off maybe on the Lich, so he could burst him before he used Nova, then I think the Radiant team would have been really slow to TP there. Because it's hard to go on someone you think will die, unless they're really good, but you can sort of assume, you can't assume perfect competence, right? Like, it's too hard to play like that if you assume everyone's perfect, because you're always going to lose. And because you're not perfect, right? Like, you're just human, and they're only human too. But anyways, when you go in like that, do you think it was good? And then you can sort of improve on it. Next time, do I have to bring one more hero there? Do I need a Jakiro there? So when I global, I can also Ice Path and Liquid Fire the Void so it can't hit my Razor. I think overall, that decision to bring Razor down there was extremely good. His decision to go on Agitred sort of, that was not so good. The execution wasn't good, but the idea was good. I don't know. I have actually issues. Anyways, let's see. So anyways, decision good. They wasted Doom. He has a blink now. And then this goes back. Can I do something with the Doom if I get a blink? Or should I have gotten a Midas? His first Doom with blink, extremely unsuccessful. Maybe but I think the decision to get a blink was still fine because if he could have turned that around with blink, it would have been worth it. You have to compare when blink and Midas are good too. Like I think a better example is in the Ode patch. A lot of carries were getting Midas, and an alternative item was mech. And a big question was, is mech or Midas better on my hero? And I think one of the ways to judge is like you go through the replay. It's like, did my mech get me a tower? If it got me one tower, then it was even-ish. If it got me more than one tower, it won a team fight, stuff like that, then yeah, mech was a better choice than Midas. And you have to sort of approach the game that way. And that's why you have to aim to improve, learn to replays. Let's see what the blink does. The blink gets him a DK kill. Alright, that's pretty good. It gave him the potential to turn around down here, and it gave him a DK kill. And his team is very bad at doing stuff if he didn't get a blink. So it's very possible that Blink was the better choice this game. He's still going to farm at a relatively okay speed. He has Devour. I personally only like 3 and Fire, and then I max Devour, but that's really game dependent, not that significant. You only get level 4 Fire if you think you specifically need that extra point to either live with the extra HP or like kill someone with the extra damage, stuff like that. You level up mid-fight. Anyway, so they're choosing to push. I wish this Razor didn't have these small items. Oh no, these items are fine. I would like to have a mech, but honestly, going mech on Razors just sucks so bad. Like it hurts so much to get mech now. You want like drums and Aquila and be fast and the Agnes to farm. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. This Ancients could use a little bit more stacking. Sniper and Razor are pretty decent at killing it. This guy should really get playing Glaives just because it's freaking an extra 20 pure damage a hit, and who doesn't like that? So Doom's gonna defend his tower. It's good, it's good, it's good stuff, good stuff. I think he should honestly still consider a Midas this game, even though it's sort of late. I think he needs that. Anyways, so we're gonna... If you notice how I looked at the replays, I sort of skipped past him farming stuff because that's what doesn't matter. I don't... Like, again, the concept behind little mechanical errors should not be focused on in a large scale. Is really important here because who cares if you miss a CS? Like, oh, if you didn't miss that CS at 10 minutes, you would have your blink dagger, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, okay, sure, but like that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, I think. Anyways, so you know that your blink dagger's cooldown, you should be scared. When your blink dagger's on cooldown, you should be very scared on Doom here. And you have to realize, you have to go into the game and think, can they kill me? At all points, when you're going to this offlane, it's scary because the Razor idea was good, but it turned out really bad. And if idea like that turns out really bad, this offlane is pretty much dead space. Like, your team should not be able to... I need to be able to draw while pause. Can Volv fix this? Can I find a fix for this? So, this line Okay. This you have agents. So this line, this bottom line, is basically where you can go. Opposite of that. This bottom line, you can go above it. That's the space you have when you're against a void with chrono up. Uh, if you say maybe in the fog, you have global, so it's not too bad if you sort of go down here, but you definitely can't if your blink is cooldown. After your blink is cooldown, have to play super defensively. Most voids are terrible at Dota. So one way he could have died is that the void wasn't stupid. The void could have just walked up and chronoed him instead of jumping. But if they jump and then they chrono, you have like 0.7 seconds to react to it. And I have to remember that this guy's on 250 ping, so it's a bit harder. He didn't even get fire off when he got jumped, which is unfortunate, even though, because he has a global to account for the AL, he would at least heal for a bit. He actually would have lived with fire there. So that's a ping thing. Holy crap, that's such a ping thing. But anyways, if you think you can survive down there with global, it's the best. But if not, you have to play super defensively, and you have to account for stuff, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I had a point before I said that fire thing, and I completely forgot it, and I need to be way more organized when I speak. Because there's way too much to talk about. Anyways, Razor comes down to defend. He defends the tower. That's decent, that's decent. He gets a deny. His team, like, when you TP down there to get the deny, you want to consider, is your team using all the lanes? And yes, they're using all the lanes. They're using all the jungle. No, Razor probably could have farmed 3 camps. But that's okay. You get a deny. You lose a bit of gold in jungle, but you get a deny. And when your team is worse late game, which I'm not convinced that this team is, because Doom, with Midas, if he gets a Midas eventually, is the best hero late game, probably. I don't think there's anyone who's better than Doom late game. Because that hero's concept is just broken. What was I saying? You want to lower the... Again, you want to limit the enemy's farm. So by sacrificing a bit of your farm to deny this tower, you're going to lower both teams' farm. And that's good for the game when you have a worse late game. It's good for the game in general, to be honest. Usually. You don't want the enemy to get equal amounts of farm to you unless you want it for a specific item timing or something like that. It's okay to trade farm sometime, but then you want to trade farm in a way that you're getting a bit more, at least. Anyways, blah blah blah. That's this. Oh, he's going for eggs. Alright, so this Doom is pretty much, at this point, the point booster, I mean, it's such a nice item to get. It gives you that, it fixes your mana, it fixes your HP. It's really nice to get. Items is really good for Void because it disables all his passives. And if you Doom a Void, you pretty much just win the game. Yeah. I don't mind it. If you're going Blink first, like maybe you think Midas, oh, I still have to keep doing stuff. Maybe I need to build a bit more tanky so that something like imagine if he had a little bit, just maybe he feels since he barely died down here. If he had a point booster, he would 100% live there. Stuff like that, you know. If he had a stout shield, he also would have lived. If he had another ring protection, he also would have lived. So those are things to consider. These small literal items. If he had a stick, he would have lived. Stick is really good on Doom. And his fire, blah blah blah, going, farming, decision, defending towers, trying to sneak some EXP here. That's good, that's good, that's good. During daytime especially, you should never ever get chronoed by a void. There's, like if you have a blink, it's, like, I mean if you're on high ping, it's sort of reasonable too, so it's hard to play like this. And that's why it's very hard to play a core hero on high ping. Whereas support, usually it's not so bad, which is why I don't mind playing on high ping as support. Otherwise, I probably would had to go to a different team, right? So yeah, okay, he's farming. So while he's farming though, while you're farming, maybe you should be looking here because you might be scared of getting jumped by a void if he has chrono. But you should also be thinking in your mind, like a plan, you know? You need to come up with a plan for the game. What's our next move? If I get a smoke, how many smokes do we have? 3. You should definitely buy one because then it starts refreshing. They've actually wasted 2 smokes at this point because you can buy one at -1 minute. Refreshes every 12 minutes. Anyways, what's my plan? Where are we going to go next? Who are we going to kill? And you have to constantly think about that in Dota. It's like, oh, okay, the mid. Okay, he has a DD. Okay, here's a cool thing. So their mid has a haste or DD in their bottle. So me and my friends, when we first started playing Dota 1, we sort of had a joke where if you're against a Juggernaut, or like he's gonna think he's invincible when he spins. So a lot of the times, a lot of the juggernauts we played against, he would start his spin on us, and we just hit him to death. And like that would just be the funniest thing to us because it was just so stupid. And like the same thing applied to DD and Haste, right? Like they think they're invincible because they're theoretically so much stronger than you, but if you just they forget that if you're stunned or we just hit you back with more heroes, like we're still strong. And so like you can bait enemy heroes who have like a DD or haste by like playing a bit aggressively and then like blink boom doomed and then the doom will purge the haste DD and GG. Anyways, that's not really important. It's just a little tangent that I just find it so hilarious when people just die because they just spin and think they're invincible, or they like have a haste rune and they start hitting you and you just hit them back and you're like, oh, haste doesn't increase your damage. Who would have thought? So this plan, I'm gonna go with not so good. We focused all the heroes in the map in this area. Wait, I just want to say something. Like, all the heroes in the map are within 2,500 range of each other. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, one of the most important concepts in Dota is that if you have these towers, you can take a 4v5 fight with someone farming, and the fifth person can TP in, and you'll have a 5v5, and you'll be equally strong because the delayed time where they have to TP in is sort of counterbalanced by the fact that you have a freaking giant structure that throws fireballs and kills people. And if you have 5 people standing together like this around the tier 1, it's incredibly bad for your farm. This late, like if we go back, let's go back a bit. So this is where they all start to group up mid. We're going to count the amount of creeps that were missed top, and then we're going to talk what did they lose by having no on top as well. So it's not just the number of creeps that you lose. It's also what, like there are more things that you lose than that. Okay, so until these guys leave mid here, until they leave this area, we're going to stay the camera on top no matter what happens, and we're just going to count the number of creeps lost. Until the start fight back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, 15. So here's where, at that global, where they initiated, this is probably where you might have been looking mid to TB. But even now, if I was like one of these heroes, would I need to TP? Probably not. I could be Sansa. I could be farming here. I still have a global. So we're gonna keep going. So 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Now maybe if my team. Now this is sort of a too hard to call situation where I would say 15 is the upper limit there because like it's sort of hard to call, right? Like, what if my captain told me to come? What if we wanted to fight them there? And like, I want to talk about that not as in this game specifically, but as in an overarching theme for in general. Because if you talk about the game specifically, you're also going to get into a trap because nothing in Dota happens twice exactly the same way it was, or that's my belief, anyways. There's too much little random variance, right? Like sniper and statistics work while the game's paused. Sniper has a attack damage variance of 70 to 76. Maybe he does 2 more damage one game. Like it's so hard to have the exact same game. It's so hard to have the exact same 5 heroes in a pub game. Or the exact same 10 heroes, I mean. In that specific order. Like it's almost impossible to have them in the specific order. Unless you're like playing a capital. So 15 creeps, but it's not just those creeps. Say for example, Sansa stay top, he's pushing the lane, we see them mid. All of a sudden, this is at the tower a full 2 creep mids earlier. And boom, this tower is not at a... So right now it gets down to 700. Okay, it gets lower. Okay, Sniper comes, but anyways. It gets to about 700 before Sniper shrapnels and hits it once. It's hitting. They're sitting 5 mid, they're not farming anything. And you're getting tower pressure. So instead of 700, this tower is dead. This tower's gone. That's extra whatever gold that is. 1,000 gold for your team. I think that's what it's around right now. Maybe it's a bit lower, like 900? 1,000? Yeah, whatever. To kill this tower, now this example is a bit worse just because this tower is the worst tower in the game. Not true. This tower is the worst tower in the game. This tower is the worst tier 1 in the game, I believe. The only thing it does is give you a little bit earlier TPs to here. But this one, for example, controls Roshan. This one is godlike. This one's godlike. This one controls all of here. This one controls this to a lesser extent than this one, but it still does control this. So this is the worst tier 1 in the game, so pressure on it is not as good, but it's still important. And most importantly, If they TP a hero up here to defend, and you see him, you'll be like, oh snap, there's only 4 heroes mid. Boom, they're all dead mid because you just provide your team with information by pushing it. So one of the biggest sort of revelations for me in Dota for improvement is sort of like instead of optimizing my farm by getting that one extra jungle camp, you need to shove the enemy wave into the tower so that someone has to show. And if there's no one at their tower showing, that means they're doing something because no one wants the tower being hit by creeps and no one wants to be losing that farm. Or like I mean, like if you let them lose farm, if you let the enemy team just have a farm advantage by your tower killing their creeps and like the lane and your tower getting hit, then you're gonna lose. Like you're getting some benefit out of shoving the wave. You don't want to. There was a meta before when pros were all bad at Dota, where you would just. It's not just that, of course. I mean, like that's one of the bigger reasons, but there's also like you could see smokes with sentries, and there's no smokes in the game at that point. But anyways, at that meta, what the meta was your safe lane was incredibly hard to penetrate or like get anyone there because you would keep the wave here and you would just keep it there and no one could touch you because you had all boards and sentry here or something and like you had one here and no one could get in there. So it would just be like Medusa versus Drow Ranger and they'd just farm for 60 minutes straight and the lane would be here the entire time. And that was considered good pro Dota. But the game has evolved since then. A lot. And the reason it was this lane is because if it ever went out of control, you could just pull it to get it back. But yeah, that's like it's different now. I like water. When did I start this? Can someone tell me? I want to keep each episode around an hour, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Let's go. So anyways, I'll talk about that. I mean, I'm realizing like this is way too content dense and not enough specific things in it, but planning for specific things is actually really hard because you have to put like work into it. Other than like, I mean, I put some work into it, but like I don't go over the replays before I do them, so I don't find specific things in the game I want to talk about. So I just talk about stuff as they come up. And Dota is an incredibly complex game, so stuff comes up like consistently always, and that's the problem. The cool mechanics about this game. Doom will remove the frost armor, so if someone gets Doom, you have to refrost armor them, stuff like that. Once he gets Aghanims, once he sells all his items and gets his Aghanims to level 4 curse, there's a good chance that the Void can get auto-maned from Aghanims. You have to think about that. There's a good chance DK is going to be low on mana, Clockwork's going to be low on mana. You have to think about things like that. Anyways, let's keep going. So, na 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 Void. Oh, good Doom. Okay, okay, let's go back to this. So, let's see. So, okay, let me talk about this shoving to towers things a bit more. Because I think it's one of the most important concepts in Dota, and it's probably the one that helped me improve the most. So a lot of people, when they see me play support, they're like, AUI is such a greedy motherfucker. He just keeps farming. He's never going to help his team. He's sitting in a lane split pushing. And they think I'm just getting more farm. What they don't realize is that by doing that, you're forcing the enemy heroes to show somewhere else, and then your team can take a bear fight somewhere, and you can TP there. And that's like, imagine if this lane had been shoved properly and it was at this tower. If this lane was at this tower, because you sort of can sense that they're top, right? Like in this game, you sort of know. Like where else could they be really? I mean, the answer is they could be anywhere because no lane is pushed out. But if the lane was shoved here, if the lane was here hitting there, where could they be? So lane farm is always more efficient than jungle farm, and the enemy tower is hitting it. So every time an enemy tower kills a creep, they lose gold essentially, right? Or extra gold. Like creeps are always fighting and they're each dying, but you're sort of getting an equilibrium there where both teams lose gold. When your tower's hitting it, you're basically just losing gold because your tower does way too much damage compared to creeps. They could be so they can't really be farming jungle because that'd be really bad by them. You can sort of assume a certain level of competency in your opponents, and you can play off that, and you sort of need to assume stuff like that. So they can be, if the lane's here, you have a ward here, so they can be smoked mid, or they can be sort of smoked or around top. But instead, the lane's not here, so they don't know any of that. They don't, like, you gain all that information by having the lane hit here. And if you see them TP, you'll be like, oh snap, they have one less TP, let's go 5v4 somewhere else. So yeah. Anyways, so let's look at the Stars fight. And I want to focus less specifically on fights, but fights are interesting, so I like looking at them. So you see here, this Void is crazy. He has no Chronosphere. He's going in. Boom, he's doomed. As soon as you doom this guy, the call should be made, hey, we are going to shit on them in this fight. Their highest farm hero just got doomed. Like, you are doomed. This stuff of wizardry might be game ruining. So they should all TP in. Everyone. They have no global, but I don't, who cares? And I mean, like I'm saying this, but you can't be so confident all the time, right? Like you have to have a good grasp of the game to know that you should all TP in. Anyways, this dude's baiting them in so hard. This Razor, he's rotating. He has no TP on cooldown. He should. And then look what happens. Boom, 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 boom. So they get 2 heroes. If everyone had TP'd, I think they would have killed DK. They would have killed I think Lich. I think Lich was here, right? Yeah. Anyways, they would have got 4 kills, and they would have lost Doom. And it's not even for sure that they lose a Doom if he had Ograx and Magic Stick, and they TP'd right away. Unfortunately, some of their TPs were on cooldown, which is bad, but hey, what can you do? Whatever. The fight still turned out decent for them. It wasn't that good. They lost 2 heroes, and they lost. The other team lost. They lost a Doom and 1 tower, and he didn't buy before he died, I believe. But it's fine. It's fine. That was a good play by Doom. He had incredible reactions with 250 MS because Void didn't get BQE off, or Void had incredibly bad reactions, whichever way you want to put it. And Void should never walk out like this without a Chronosphere ready. And even then, you should probably use a rocket or put a ward and not skull with your hero at night. Another sort of people also in Dota, I've seen a couple of posts on forums where people are like, why does Dota have a day and night cycle? Like League of Legends got rid of it, other games sort of got rid of it. I mean, Hearthstone, I believe. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking about other games because I've never played other games at a high level other than StarCraft, and even then that's pretty mediocre. So like, what the day and night cycle, one of the biggest things is of course vision change. I mean, the only thing basically is vision change under the specific heroes. So during the day, your hero normally has 1800 day vision, which is actually higher than wards. So you have to think about that. Like when you put a ward on this cliff, you're like, wow, I see a lot. If you had a hero on that cliff, you would actually see 200 range more, which is a lot. Whereas at night, most heroes have 800 night vision, and that's not specifically always true because say Sniper has 1000 night vision, Luna has 1800 night vision, or no, basically same day night vision. Night Stalker only has a 1000 night vision during day and 1800 during night. Stark has full night vision. Like, but anyways, during the night, there are a lot of heroes that can, if you're in vision during the night, there are a lot of heroes that can cast spells on you before you see them. Or there's a lot of heroes that can get into range to cast spells on you, and you can't react in time. And this is especially true about if you're high ping. So, for example, one of those heroes is, say, Leshrac or Jakiro, who can Ice Path or stun you from out of range. Can you please take a bite and do it? They can Ice Path or Leshrac stun you from outside of 800 range, and that's one of the important features of those heroes. So during here, when I'm Void, and this is an important concept for initiators, because when you initiate, you want to see as many of them as possible before you initiate, because that's how you're going to get the best initiation. Vision is incredibly undervalued in Dota. Like, people think wards are good, but no. Properly placed wards are good. If you ward the 2 runes for the entire game, it's going to help, but it's not going to do that much. I mean, it's going to be good. If you, I don't know, but if you put a ward here and you put a ward here and you're dire and you're just playing defensive wards all the time and you're winning, like, it's not going to do anything. Or water. Oh, it's Night Stalker 1200. Not bad, whatever. It's. I mean, I should know that, but it's not my fault the hero's never picked. Haha. Okay. Anyway, so initiating during day, good. Walking out during night, really bad, game losing. Blah blah blah. Getting this item before your Ograx almost always not good. Okay, so we're gonna go to this next fight. We're gonna look at how initiated. So it is daytime. Daytime good. Daytime smoke good. He jumps. He's crazy. That's crazy. He sees a doom. Gets chronoed. Okay, I want to go into this with Radiance Fog. So he sees him farming. He sees. Oh, there's a creep walking back. Oh, there's a creep walking back. Okay, jump and go. But he actually has no vision on the enemy team when he does this. They could have had 5 heroes sitting here, and he wouldn't know. And then he jumps the tanky hero on the enemy team. His entire team gets globaled, and then we're gonna see what happens. So die. Void's dead. Void lived. Backtrack OP? Question mark? Kappa? Anyways, that fight should have been way worse for them than it was. They sort of got lucky. The Clockwork had a really good same grace, but again, we're good. Like, you have to think about how they're initiating. It's not good. Anyways, ooh. No, this. Like, dude, where's the shrapnels? So DK lives here because he had a haste rune, which is like, you know, he's like S4, and that fight actually turned out pretty good for Radiant, but it shouldn't have. And that's like that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter if the fight actually turned out well for Radiant. That fight should have turned out well for Dire. And if a Radiant player was going over this replay analyzing, he should be like, why did I do that? And if his reasoning was he thought he could initiate on this one Doom target, like he thought that, and he knew that his DK had haste, and he thought they were gonna shit on him anyways, no matter what, then yeah, amazing play, good play. But if you go over your replay and you think, hey, this was sort of risky, we got lucky here, like that's something that you want to sort of take out from your play. And it's not to say you should never go for risky plays, because if you go for standard plays and they go for only risky plays, it's okay. So if you go for standard plays and they go for risky plays, they're going to win most of the games, I think. And this isn't like a rock paper scissors thing, but it's probably like a 60-40 thing. If you play extremely safe and they go for only risky plays, you're probably going to win as a safe player. And if you play standard when they play normally, like when they play safe, you're probably going to win. Like it's sort of like what is it in StarCraft, like Fast Expo, Rush, and Standard or whatever. Like there are stuff like things like that in Dota. So no, he has vision on them, but he doesn't have chrono, so he jumps, and it's I mean, like before you leap in, you probably want to wait till you have chrono because you can maintain vision on them. You'll probably want to master your faster, but yeah, if he had done that, he probably could have got 2. But oh man, that hook work. Anyways, he chronos for a Razor, blah blah. But Razor was stealing his damage entirely. Razor plus 224 damage. And Razor goes ham. So, this is another concept to talk about. Is a tier 1 tower worth defending? And the answer is usually yes, but it's not always yes. If this tower at 100 HP, there's no way you can defend in time. You have to consider whether you have glyph, whether you have time to set up, this way should wait, of course. Do that, and then you have to consider as Dire. We're pushing this. We don't have global. If we don't have global and they get a good initiation on us, can we win? The answer probably no. And again, they got a bit lucky here that they were to beat it. But I keep saying lucky, but I feel like I'm using the wrong word, because you can sort of expect a certain level of competency from your opponents. And you should expect a certain level of competency, and you cannot play as if they were perfect. Especially like at the level I want to cater to, because I don't think any pro players are going to want to watch this. And like with that said, like you shouldn't think that they're the worst players in the world. You shouldn't freaking like, oh wow, that's lucky. Headshot change. You shouldn't think that I can farm all the way to tier 2 and just keep hitting it forever, which surprising is probably more true against specific pro teams than against hub opponents. But like you do need to assume that they're gonna have a bit slower than perfect reactions. Assume that if I jump with a melee range Ravage, they are not going to BKB it every time. Stuff like that, you know? You can't assume that if I jump next to them out of fog with a Ravage, they're going to BKB it, because you will never win that way. You will play way too safe. You won't take any risks and stuff like that. Like you have to assume that they're going to take time to turn their hero, and turn rate is a big thing in Dota. I should talk about that, not now because I'm talking about way too many things that are irrelevant. But yeah, that's basically my point. All right, I need to change. I have like 2 water bottles, like this. One's from like I bought a suitcase and gave me water, and one's like the TI water bottle. And both of them I used one straw because I don't know. It's a straw that came with the TI one, so every time I finish my water, I have to switch my bottles, which is actually so annoying. What can you do? I'm drinking way too much water because I'm talking way too much, so I need to go wash and I'll be right back. Alright. Let's go. I'm gonna end this one soon. Because I think I've actually just talked about way too much this time. And I need to be way more focused in the future. Anyways, we're pushing, they're pushing. Good, try to force that in. Ooh, nice stun. They have no detection. If you put a sentry down, you can see a blast. Razor's dead. Razor's dead. Hyper's dead. Okay. This is gonna be the last thing I think I talk about this replay. We're at halfway mark, but this is probably gonna be the last thing I talk about, I think. When you push a tower, I've talked about this a bit. You have to realize how much that tower is worth and what you lose by pushing it. Because usually what you lose is that someone's on the opposite side of the map farming. And basically I'm going to talk about this, but in the opposite perspective as last time. And so if they push this tower to here, and then farm, they're going to get these 3 camps, go back and farm their own jungle. They're going to stop this guy from farming, who should be there. And like, this tower it's not worth that much, to be honest. It's a really easy tower to push later. And instead, what happens is they try to force it, and they just, there are 2 highest farm heroes, I think. The 2 highest farm heroes, and the enemy gets a DD rune, and the enemy should probably be able to take Roshan here. But instead they take Ancient Stack, which is equally bad, probably, for the Dire team. And the enemy farms out and farms everywhere. So, yeah, and I'm gonna go through the rest at 8x. And I don't think we'll see what I see. Okay, let's go through item choices once more. So he's gonna have his eggs. Okay, he's finally done his eggs, but like it's 30 minutes. If he got an earlier Midas, he probably would have had his eggs, say at like, I don't know, probably 30 minutes. But maybe 31 minutes, maybe 32 minutes. But then he would have Midas, he'd be higher level. This spell is really good. You want to have the spell max, stuff like that. So you have to also look at in your replays about, you have to look back as like the impact on my items. Did getting a Blink Dagger into Midas, what did it do? If I got a Blink Dagger, if I got a Midas, like how long would my Blink Dagger be delayed? Would that have been fine? Stuff like that. Okay. Yada yada. Actually, I have a lot of things to talk about, but I think pretty much gonna be it for this one replay.
Is under attack.
When you smoke, you need the lanes pushed out before you smoke, or similarly to how if a creep wave's hitting your tower, you know that they're not there. You smoke when their creeps are hitting your tower, they're gonna know you're smoked. Alright, I don't think I'm watching to the end of this replay. I think that's pretty much covered it for this replay for this row, and I'm closing this.